So it was only 2 weeks until I would win the championship in Iceland. This is the moment I had been waiting for years, for such a long time. Because I thought it would bring me long-lasting happiness, I finally reached the achievement that I would have figured it out, and it will continue to be pretty easy path after that, and I would experience this long-term happiness. But that didn't happen. We won the title, and the night was super fun. We celebrated, we had some drinks, we went out, but the morning after, I just remember I woke up and I thought to myself, Peggy, aren't you supposed to be happier? Have it all figured out? Like, what is wrong? You've been chasing this thing for years and then you finally reached it and you're not still happy. And that's when I kind of realized that we wait until something external happens in our lives that is going to make us happy. And I think that's pretty much dangerous, because firstly, we set so high expectations of that, we wait until our dreams come true. I'll get the dream job. We wait for the holiday. We wait for traveling. We wait for a difficult season in our lives to end. We wait until we can go home and get food. We wait until we finish being in traffic. We are constantly waiting for something that is supposed to give you happiness. And the reason I say that's dangerous, especially when you have something big that we're waiting for, is that you set so high expectations of that thing that is supposed to give you happiness that the reality won't meet those expectations. Also, if you're waiting to be happy, and let's say you're waiting to be happy after you finished an unfinished vision for 3 years or goals that you're seeking, you're wasting your life on waiting for a moment that when you will reach your success, then you'll be happy for a maximum couple of hours, maybe a day, and then it will fade away, because it's called the hedonic adaptation. So as we are really resilient when it comes to life stressors and difficult emotions and thoughts, it tends to this too shall pass. The same occurs with our happiness and joy. Those things will pass as well. And research actually backs this up. So aiming for happiness or seeking happiness is a risk factor for depression and loneliness. And if you think about it, if you're waiting until being happy or you're aiming for happiness, that implies that you're not happy in the moment, which makes you think something is wrong with me and I have to reach something externally, or something externally has to happen in my life and then I become happy. And that's a happiness trap. And I think just pretty much dangerous. Then at the same coin, I'm waiting for hedonistic pleasures in the moment. So you wait until you eat food. You wait until the weekend to go to party. You wait until you do something that is comfortable, pleasurable, positive in the moment without thinking anything about the consequences of that. It's kind of the Peter Pan syndrome, when the kid that never wanted to grow up, which is fine when you're 20, maybe 25, but when you're 30, living that life is pretty awkward, I would say, because you're in the Neverland, Peter Pan land, and still doing the things that you did when you were 16, 20, 25, and you're still doing it at 30, seeking pleasure after pleasure after pleasure, waiting for moments after moments after moments that makes you feel good and comfortable in the moment. That doesn't imply any responsibility or meaning in your life. And I think it's time to grow up. It's time to bear some responsibility, not only of your body and your work, but also on yourself emotionally, about other people, if you're dating or your friends. It's just time to use your time wisely for your future self, to a cause that you're motivated of fulfilling in the world, instead of being just wandering around and waiting for the next thing is going to give you pleasure. Because I'm seeing a lot of that today in young men's lives. Video games, smoking weed, alcohol, drugs, sex, porn, all of that stuff. That's Peter Pan. That's Neverland. That's not growing up. That's not doing something that contributes to your future self. I don't want to say that pleasure is not a part of life, and I think if you can enjoy pleasure, that's fine once in a while. I'm also not saying that happiness is something wrong. If you're happy, then just leverage it and experience it, and I think we should celebrate that. But a life worth living, that's not a life of constant waiting, pleasure seeking for the next moment that is going to make you happy in the moment. Because what The thing that's going to make you happy in the moment is not necessarily going to make you happy in the future, but meaning and responsibility does. And I want to talk about how to go from Peter Pan to Batman, or from hedonistic pleasures to meaning and responsibility. And Viktor Frankl, he wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. I'm going to talk about 3 ways to enhance meaning in your life, and those ways are also backed by science. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. But when it comes to meaning in your life, like, stop thinking about it as abstract and like the meaning of your life. Meaning in life changes from moment to moment. You can have different meaning now in this moment and recording this video, and when I stop recording and I do something maybe socially, I have a different meaning in life then. So don't think about it too abstractly and too big, because it's so overwhelming to have an abstract meaning in your life. It's possible, but just let's start a little bit more practical. And the first pathway to meaning is found in striving, duty, or adding value. And that's basically having goals, having a vision for your life that normally contributes to something beyond yourself, to a cause, to something unfinished work, that some problem that annoys you, or better, some interest that capture you. And finding ways to ask yourself, like, from the noise of the world, and sit down with a piece of paper or write it in the computer, seek my workbook that is free, by the way, and ask yourself, like, who do I want to become? What problems are worth my suffering? Who do I want as friend, as a partner, family members? What do I want to do for my career? Ask yourself, what do I want to do in my leisure time? Ask yourself these questions and write them down. And then also ask you at the same time, like, what makes me lose track of time? What am I doing that something is so interesting that I'm just immersed in the present moment? And what problems annoy me? Like, because that's your problem. If something annoys you, that's your problem. And instead of waiting until somebody else is going to figure out, how about you just take the responsibility and take that problem and find a solution to that problem, and start to make contribution to solving that problem in your own unique way. And to add duty and striving and adding value to other people, it's really good to also know your strengths. So what are you naturally good at, and what is about your character that gives you energy? Like, are you an honest person? Are you curious? Have you high amount of social competence? Are you a leader? Do you have fairness? You know, is fairness important to you and gives you energy? Do you have a lot of zest and energy for life? Do you have a good self-control? Do you have good judgment? It's finding your strength, and then also searching for some skills that you can develop. Because if you leverage and build the life on your strengths and the skills that you can develop, then you can use that into making your interest into your passion project in your world, or finding a solution to a problem that needs you and is calling for you to solve it. And when you have goals and vision, and you build your skills and strengths to achieve that vision, you have a strong why. You have a sense of purpose. And having a sense of purpose is one big element in experiencing meaning in your life. And you don't have to define that sense of purpose, but just having those goals and vision that aligns with your interests and values, that is going to give you a sense of purpose. And Viktor Frankl said, I'm paraphrasing here, those who have a why can bear any almost how. And he was referencing Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche. And when he was at his most difficult periods in the concentration camps and was fearing his life, didn't get a lot of food to eat, was so cold, and was just terrible conditions, he reminded himself of his unfinished work that nobody else was going to do, and the striving towards that he was going to do that within the camps and after the camps. So he was writing a manuscript on local therapy, which is his theory on and therapeutic application on helping people to find meaning in their lives. And he also he didn't know if his partner was dead or not, but he wanted to see her if she was alive, and that kept him moving forward. And that is what purpose does for you in difficult moments in your life. If you have a strong vision and goals, that's going to be a huge asset in your resilience during your most difficult moments in your life. And believe me, there are going to be some pretty difficult ones in your life, but that will serve as an anchor in your life and gives you a tool to be strong enough to navigate through the suffering. Because life is going to be really hard and happiness is not going to save you there, but a purpose might. That's the first one. The second pathway that Viktor Frankl talked about was experiencing meaning through experience with love, beauty, and nature. What he meant by that is that experiencing meaningful moments when you get out of your head and into the experience. So he said that love was the strongest experience that we could experience to have meaning in our lives. But then also what he did in the concentration camps, he was looking at trees when he saw beautiful birds and he just lost himself in the moment. He was also connecting to his fellow prisoners through humor. He was making jokes in the midst of the suffering, and what he was essentially doing that he was experiencing positive emotions by forgetting himself in something greater than himself. And when we experience positive emotions with humor or awe or beauty or love, generally life is really meaningful. We experience a lot of meaning in our lives in those moments. So a question that I want to pose to you is like, what makes you forget yourself? Is it nature? Is it a meaningful conversation? Is it writing? Is it connecting with another stranger on the street? Is it seeing an art? Like, what makes you forget yourself and then do more of those things? And just ask yourself, like, what moments makes my life meaningful? And then do more of that. But normally those moments bring you positive emotions and takes you from your head into the experience, and then you experience a lot of meaning in your life. The third way, and the most important way according to Frankl, is the freedom to choose your own meaning in all kinds of situations. So in the middle of the camps, Frankl asked himself of like, given this terrible condition and environment, do I have any power or freedom? And he said yes. He said that he had freedom to make meaning or choose how you respond in the terrible situation, and that you can take anything from a man except for the freedom to choose his response. Meaning that what happens in your life, the best thing between what happens in your life and how that's going to affect you, you can choose what meaning you make and how that meaning will help you to move forward. And the best thing is, the rough thing is that there are facts that happen in your life, and the best thing is though that you are the author of your own story, so you can create your own meaning. And his most famous quote is, between stimulus and response there's a space where you can choose how to respond. And there's no other way than gain a positive meaning in your life by rather than constructing what happened, what you're going through in a more positive way, and asking yourself, what am I learning from the experience? Am I still grateful for something? Is this teaching me something? Am I realizing like what I'm made of? What perspective is this giving me on life? How will this help me for the future? And this is the ultimate responsibility of making your own meaning. And it's difficult, but there's no way to move forward, because you can choose to let difficult situations in your life turn into a loser story, or you can choose to craft the meaning of that experience in a way that makes you into a redemption story. And that's the most powerful way to achieve meaning in your life in every moment, and getting more coherent of yourself, your experiences, and understanding the world a little bit better. So these are three. I'm going to repeat them. Stop thinking about meaning in life as something big or abstract, or something that you have to define as the meaning of your life. Rather think about it more like practical and more like smaller, because you can have different meaning in life in different moments, and that meaning can change instantly. So take the pressure off, because it's an overwhelming concept. So you find meaning by striving, duty, or adding value. So having goals, building and achieving those goals based on your skills and strengths, and having problems to solve, and something that makes you interesting and worthwhile to alleviate your suffering and make something of yourself into the world. The second part is experiencing when you're forgetting yourself in something else, such as beauty, love, nature. So ask yourself, what moments give me the most meaning in my life, and how can I increase that in the future? The third one, and the most powerful one, is choose what meaning you want to make out of things that happen in your life. The things in itself is not what is affecting you, it's your meaning you create about the things that happen. Please create a positive meaning that will help you and turn your story into a redemption story instead of a loser story. And you have the power there. And if you do, you stop living like Peter Pan and you live your life more like Batman. Batman has a mission, and his mission serves something greater than himself. He loses himself in his mission, which is saving Gotham. And Batman doesn't indulge in pleasure. Batman seeks a purpose. And that's the reason why Batman overcame all of his opponents and these difficult things that happen in the movies. And I think it's time to stop seeking pleasure, start taking responsibility for your life and seek a life of meaning, because that is going to be difficult, but it's going to be an extremely worthwhile adventure, and you have nothing better to do. And it's going to be way better for your life than seeking instant comfort, narcissistic pleasure in your life. So go out there, make something out of yourself into the world, find your unique gifts and give them relentlessly to the world. And that's going to make your life extremely meaningful, into an adventure. And at the end of a life, you can say, I made this world a better place. And you have nothing better to do, so go all in. All right, thank you, appreciate you.